Hey guys, what is going on? My name's ThumbSpark. Welcome back to another video. In this video, of course, I'm going to be talking about my favorite privacy communities, what I think are the best privacy communities. This is, of course, my subjective opinion. I'm going to be talking about communities I think are very helpful in terms of giving you more information about privacy and security, and also stuff like VPNs. I'm going to be talking about communities I think are not very toxic. I'm going to be talking about communities I don't like as well, so stay tuned for that as well. Anyways, guys, if you haven't picked a VPN yet, as always, check out vpntierlist.com, check out the VPN quiz, and check out some of my videos on my channel as well. Subscribe and like as well. So let's get into the video, guys. So firstly, I'm going to be talking about some of the communities I'm not a huge fan of. One of them is r/r/VPN. It's a Reddit community. It used to be a decent community, although overly censorship. It would censor like so many different things, but somewhere along it just kind of became a subreddit to promote pretty much NordVPN. You could see some of their discounts and things that probably give them sales, and if you look at the comparison table, just also very heavily favorited to Nord. Now Nord isn't the worst VPN in some ways, but this chart in my opinion isn't very accurate. Some specific scores here are just really low for no explanation, like Torgord, for example. It's rated low in terms of encryption. I'm not sure why. And availability, even though it's on every platform and has better Linux GUI than a lot of VPNs. So not that good of a resource in my opinion. Not that accurate. Probably not a good community to be a part of. Next one I'm going to be talking about is something called Privacy Guides. Now this could be a controversial one, but in my opinion, interacting with the people who run this subreddit and community is not very good. I've had community members personally attack me on a subreddit being very toxic, and I'll show examples here on the screen. Just being very toxic and hostile, gatekeeping, doing all sorts of stuff, saying I'm not allowed to have my own opinion, anything that isn't their opinion is wrong, etc. I've also had users comment on my channel that people like stalk me in their matrix or element servers and stuff like that, so that's super weird. I decided to do some research, and apparently looking at the Privacy Guides matrix, it's a toxic cesspool. Looking at it, you could see people gatekeeping, being toxic toward me, making personal attacks. It's just a fucking cesspool of toxicity. Do not go there. Jesus. So the people here, like I said, very toxic to me and my channel. They do a lot of gatekeeping, excluding other people out who have different opinions. And like I said, my own users have said there's a lot of toxicity going on in their own communities. Whether you want to, whatever side you take, if they should have taken this from the original creator or not, it's kind of up to you. But in my opinion, I would just go with privacytools.io. .io is a pretty good resource overall. However, the guy does seem to be a little thirsty for money lately, having a little bit of sponsorships on the website. However, if you just kind of ignore the sponsorships and affiliations on the website, it's still a pretty good resource. And I think it's one worth supporting more than Privacy Guides, since Privacy Guides kind of just copied everything here. And I just don't really like the project personally. Another community I'm not a huge fan of is techlore.tech. Now, techlore.tech is kind of similar to Privacy Guides. They have similar people who work on both projects. Techlore, just like Privacy Guides, some of the content could be good on there, but I'm just not a huge fan of the way these communities are run. I made a video talking about how Techlore made an hour-long video telling people not to use Graphene OS, basically saying how toxic Graphene OS is to them and how the leadership affects the project, basically insinuating generally in an hours-long video you shouldn't use Graphene OS anymore, even though Graphene OS is the most secure private operating system available for Android. So I'm not a huge fan of that video he made and that overall kind of way that they run their community here. Like I said in that video, they're also super toxic towards my channel. Now, just like Privacy Guides, I'm not sure why, but these people also just seem to have an obsession with me. Over 18 pages of conversation. It's cutting it off right there, but you could check out right here. These people have been trash talking me for years, probably 3 or 4 plus years. Lots of stalkers, people on here who just can't stop being toxic towards other people and making personal attacks. If you look at the rules on their community, they say stuff like not being toxic, everything like that, no gatekeeping. However, in my experience, that's the only thing this community seems to do a lot of the time. If you don't agree with their opinions, they're going to assume you're a shill, or they just aren't going to like you. So in my opinion, not the best community to be a part of either. Apparently some of my community members also agree with that statement. Also, in terms of tech lore, I also think a lot of his opinions haven't aged well. There's a lot of controversy about him making a video, which could have led people to brick their phones.
Some of the shortcuts I recommended led to people not being able to install the ROM successfully. So yes, we messed up. But to my knowledge, not a single person had actually truly bricked a device.
But again, saying to my knowledge means that theoretically there could have been some people that bricked their device, he just never found out or looked into it. So honestly, not a good look for tech lore, and I don't think his videos are really that great overall anymore, especially the toxic community. Now, another community I don't really recommend is something called r/r/privacy. Now, this is not a bad subreddit to get some news and stuff like that. However, the same people who run privacy guides also run this one. A lot of the privacy subreddits on Reddit are actually kind of monopolized by the same people. TriDep was the person who was attacking me from privacy guides, made like a huge video about me, shit talking me into existence, making up all this stuff about TorGuard that's not true, saying they stole the name from the Tor network, whereas Tor stands for the onion router, TorGuard stands for torrent guard. TorGuard is also trademarked. There's not really any way for them to steal the name if they themselves own it. So just trying to create drama. Not a huge fan of that guy, and he owns a subreddit with some other people. So again, not that good of a resource. Also, guys, I did want to mention I'm not a huge fan of the Windscribe community. Windscribe, at the end of the day, it's not a bad VPN. They've had some of their own issues in the past, like not encrypting some of their servers and stuff like that. However, my problem with the community is it's just super toxic. They like to meme about me calling them toxic, which is kind of funny. But if you go into the community and look up my name, you'll probably find 8 more or full pages about me being toxic. Now, the mods here, they kind of try to make it seem like they're moderating the community and they don't want people to be toxic. But again, if you look in the history, you'll just see people shit talking me all the time, even some of the mods doing so. You can see it here right now. In May, this guy was saying this guy only shields WeVPN and TorGuard. And like when I make videos about haters and toxicity, they always make sure to bring me up, kind of making memes. Originally, I kind of stopped recommending Windscribe because the CEO and me got into a disagreement, and he ended up leaking some of my personal DMs on Twitter, which was not cool. So yeah, just not a huge fan of this community. I don't think it's a bad VPN, but I think the community has gotten out of control, and they should focus more on being a good VPN, fostering more privacy and security without doing so much gatekeeping, toxicity, and personal attacks. If this community focused more on less personal attacks, it might actually be a good community, but I don't see that ever happening. Not only that, but they'll also attack other VPNs too they don't like, and anything like that, and other YouTubers as well. Yeah. Also, it's like they're saying like I like impersonated someone on Rob Braxton's server. I've even seen sometimes they think I'm someone else here or something like that. I was looking at it recently. I guess some guy was having problems with Windscribe or something like that, and they thought it was me. I don't know what the hell's going on. Just super toxic, super clicky, I guess is the word you could say. But anyways, guys, what are some of the servers I like? Well, one of the servers I like is actually WeVPN. Now, WeVPN is one of the VPNs I like, and it's no surprise to see that they run a good community as well. If you look at my name, there's not going to be any toxicity, of course, because I have a good relationship with this server. However, not only that, there's not going to be any toxicity towards other people either. You know, they're not going to be shit talking other YouTubers here. They don't really talk about anything else besides WeVPN, which is, in my opinion, how it should be. They also talk about privacy, which is good. But there's just not any of those things I don't like with those certain privacy communities I mentioned before. There's no gatekeeping, personal attacks, toxicity. They keep it about privacy and VPN, which is what makes it good. They're also very good about moderating things and stuff too, and overall a very solid community if you like WeVPN or if you just want to be in a cool community overall. Another good community is the TorGuard forums. Now, the TorGuard forums aren't the most active place in the world, but they do have their good amount of activity, and it's a good place to talk about TorGuard VPN. The forums are pretty well moderated, and it's just full of people asking questions and getting answers from developers about TorGuard, so check that one out if you're interested. Another good forum community dealing with privacy and security is the Graphene OS forums. You can find those at discuss.grapheneos.org, and also put links for other communities too in the description. This is a really good place to discuss graphene, ask questions. Daniel McKay, the owner of Graphene OS, or kind of like, I guess, like the lead developer or whatever, he's really hands-on with his community, always answering questions on Twitter. His community moderators always answering questions. If someone tells you this community is toxic, they're probably the toxic one. This community is one of the strongest communities I've ever seen. They really don't deal with bullshit, which I like. There's no toxicity, gatekeeping, personal attacks, or anything here. This is a very solid community. And if you're into Graphene OS or mobile security systems, check out this one. I think they also have a Matrix and Element Discord as well. So check that out. Now, another good community is Brax.me. Now, Brax.me is Rob Braxton's community. He is another YouTuber who is really into internet privacy and stuff like that. Now, Rob Braxton has his own style of doing things, a lot of talking in his videos. He goes very in depth on, you know, kind of the surveillance state kind of side of things. But he's a pretty knowledgeable dude. He actually used to be a CEO of a pretty big tech firm. He later kind of left that and started his own YouTube channel. And he also has really cool side channels doing boating and music and stuff like that. One reason I like this community is because it doesn't seem very toxic to me. There's not that much gatekeeping, no personal attacks. If you could talk about other things besides Rob. So it's a pretty overall good community, and it actually is encrypted and privacy friendly. The website isn't the best designed, but you can get on there and talk with some of his other community members and even make your own communities, which is cool. Rob, the thing about him is that I'm not a huge fan of some of the stuff he sells. Some of the VPN stuff is just kind of repackaged open VPN configurations. Some of the phones, I don't know if they're really that worth it. But the guy is pretty knowledgeable, and I think his community is decently good. So I just wanted to give that a shout out too. Ones I mentioned, but definitely a pretty solid guy. Doesn't seem very toxic, doesn't seem to do much gatekeeping, stuff like that. No personal attacks. His videos strictly stay on news, privacy, and security, and that is good. Anyways, guys, those are some of my favorite communities. I might be making my own community soon. I might be self-hosting a forum and linking it to my main website, so stay tuned for that if you're interested, and I'll see you in the next video very soon.